So, hi everyone, and welcome
Hi.
to She Thrives All Things Life with me and Lisa. So this week we thought it'd be quite apt to talk about hay fever, just because it seems to be pretty rife at the moment, and people who don't normally suffer seem to be suffering, and people who always suffer have got it pretty bad. And I was talking to Lisa, weren't we? We were talking about it last week as I was sneezing away and bunged up, and I'm still a bit bunged up now. And then Lisa said, well, I used to suffer and I've got some things that can really help you. And it was actually really helpful. So we thought we'd share it because obviously you just think you go to is just nose sprays and your antihistamine tablets, which is like what I've been doing, but they don't really work, or I guess your body kind of gets used to it, doesn't it? So um, what Lisa's about to share with us, I think, is going to be, yeah, pretty life changing. I'm definitely started to try them all, and I feel definitely like it's working. So hopefully this will help you guys who suffer with the hay fever.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well, I was going to say, like, you don't want to be putting chemicals in your body too often, like I used to use, I think it was Becanaise or something, like the nasal spray all the time, and yeah, like antihistamine every single day. And then, you just think, what is this doing though? Like, why, I don't want to rely on this like my whole life. So, I'll say one thing though, I do, and I think we've done Zooms where I've had like allergies quite bad. I do get the allergies, but weirdly, like I've realized, and doctors say there's no connection, but I realized it's to do with my cycles, and I've got obviously the endometriosis issue and imbalances with my hormones, and I've tracked it and timed it that it always happens on my period, like literally just one day, and then around ovulation. It's not it's when it gets bad, I guess, when I've got like a pain flare up, it seems to happen. But weirdly, like, and I mean, this is something that I've worked out myself. Antihistamines don't help it. But when I take a painkiller, so the pain's really bad, and then I think like I can't cope anymore, I take it, the hay fever symptoms go away. So I do think as well, there's different situations that are at play, but like it basically when you have those kind of allergy symptoms, it's your body trying to remove foreign bodies out, out of your system. And so what I've realized in my situation, so any women who might have it and it's always around your periods, I'd say definitely get that looked at, because there's research that's connecting it to estrogen, so high estrogen levels, and that's what can kind of create that. So that's something to look at. So just in case anyone's ever watched the videos and thought, well, Lisa, there's been times where I've been sneezy or whatever. But the hay fever type of thing, I haven't had now for a long time, and I had it so bad, really bad. I remember when I first started to get it, I felt like I used to do holistic therapies, and I was a massage therapist. And I remember having it really bad, and obviously you're trying to massage someone, and like my nose running, and like all these awful symptoms, and you shouldn't be, like you don't want to present yourself in that way when someone's coming and having like something, like that. You kind of having to stop and blow your nose all the time, or you've got oil on your hands. It's just impossible. So like it was a real issue for me. And things trigger it. Then once it's there, things trigger it, like perfumes and oils and whatever. And I remember, so when I had the fibromyalgia really bad, I went and I did this kind of whole thing for my health in Guatemala. And one, yeah, like, so I found this center and I stayed there for, I think it was a couple of months, and I did this whole thing for allergies, because I was getting really bad with this one around my periods. And what I found was, so there was a certain process that I followed, and I never had the hay fever again. So, before, if I, if there was cut lawn, or when the pollen like blows around, it was always right at the beginning of kind of the spring, summertime, all the way through. And now I don't get it like that. I definitely recommend you trying to do it. So I said there's a process that I did, which I guess it starts with clearing out like the allergens, so clearing out whatever it is that's irritating the body, but then you're also boosting your immune system at the same time, so then it deals with things better. So the first thing I would definitely recommend, so these are kind of, I guess, like little hacks for hay fever, is it's a process called oil pulling. So not many people have heard of this, even though it's quite, I don't know. I mean, I get, well, it's an Ayurvedic tradition. It's a practice that they use in Ayurveda, which is like an ancient Eastern kind of tradition in India. And it's where you have oil. They say to use, I think it's sesame oil or something. It doesn't taste very nice for me. So I used coconut oil. And the idea is that the oil binds to any of the bacteria in your mouth and it pulls that out and then you spit it out. Bless you. um, and so, like, so what you do is before, when you get up in the morning, before you brush your teeth, you gargle your mouth, you're rinsing through your teeth and stuff with a spoonful, like a tablespoon or a teaspoon of this oil. And you definitely, what you don't want to do is like swallow it, because this is all the bacteria that you're pulling out of your mouth. And, you know, like they say that you have like so much bacteria in the mouth, like, I don't even know what the claims are, but if you
More
think
than
about it,
in a toilet.
yeah, I
That's
was
what
going
they
to say
say, isn't
that,
it?
but
You
I
think,
thought,
oh,
how
that's
can
so
that be
gross.
true? When you think about when people just kiss random people in the clubs or whatever, and that you're basically kissing a toilet seat. I'm not sure. I don't think it's that bad, but I think like the amount of bacteria it does build up, it's like you're taking away a big chunk of work from your immune system, because apparently your immune system is always at work trying to clear it away. If you've got any kind of like fillings or, you know, cavities in your teeth, your immune system is constantly trying to go to there to kind of, you know, like sort it out. So if you can pull out all of those, all of that bacteria, then that is like lessening the work of the immune system. So that is a massive thing. Also, you're just clearing that olfactory kind of system so that it's working at its best. So it's 10 minutes of just like, you know, kind of gargling, like rinsing it, you know, like just through your teeth, and then spitting it out in a bin, not in the sink because it solidifies again, and then rinsing your mouth with water a couple of times, then you brush your teeth. And I tell you, your teeth feel so clean after that as well. Like, so that's going to help with your tooth health as well as anything else. But that for me, I really noticed a difference after a few weeks. And the next thing to clear out that olfactory system and the sinuses and everything, something that I don't keep up, but I did for the few months just to kind of clear my system, is called a Netti pot. And this is kind of like, again, this is the Ayurvedic tradition. Laura didn't like this, but you said about it. It's gross, but you know, when you do it and you see how much it works, you're like, whoa, okay, like this needs to be done. It can be dangerous if you, so people need to always know that never to use tap water, because if you do tap water, you're introducing bacteria into like the nasal cavities. That's the worst thing you can do. You have to buy proper saline water. You know, so it's like proper sterile saline water, and you put it through one nostril, tipping your head to the side. It'll go all the way through and it comes out the other nostril. So you kind of do it for a while, and you do it through the other nostril, and the gunk that comes out, my God, it's awful. It's awful. But at first, but then actually after a while, there's less of it. So you really are clearing out that kind of all of your, you know, I've been fortunate, like, or some people probably wouldn't like this, but I've done like surgery, you know, like maxillofacial surgery, where you're kind of like, you can see all of the canals and everything around, and there's all these little holes. And yeah, so it's amazing really when you think about it. Like, we should be working on keeping them clean. So if you have it always bunged up, you know, even like massaging across here, you're helping any of that kind of mucusy stuff. That's made me like sneezy there, like all pockets around here. So there's
How
things
did
you
you
can do.
see all the sorry, how do you see all the holes there?
Well, you
What?
don't see it. Again, you can with the endoscopy, kind of the scope, but you can feel it. You can feel kind of behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing, but it's something that we don't look after. So obviously it will end up getting bunged up. You know, I guess it's like with your plumbing at home, you've got to kind of look after it, make sure you're clearing it through and whatever. Otherwise, it will bung up. That's the same as us. This is our plumbing system. Um, because that's something you can do on a real basic level, and that will really clear it out. And then I was saying the few things that I was doing, like big shifts that I did, was the nutrition shifts. There's certain things that will cause mucus to kind of build up in that area. Like dairy is one of them. So if we're having an issue that is just ongoing and really, really triggering you, it's not saying that you have to take out dairy forever, but definitely for the point, for enough of time for your body to be able to regenerate itself and to clear the problem. If you're having more dairy while the mucus is there, it's just adding more. It's very just like it impacts the mucus that we have built up in the body. So yeah, it's cutting out dairy as much as you can, especially well, I don't know. It seems to be milk can be one of those ones that are quite triggering, and wheat as well, and sugars. So all these things, they are like they have an inflammatory response on the body. So anything that's having a little bit of inflammation, it's just going to add to. So all those things are just bunging up, and that's why, you know, the breathing and stuff is like really a struggle. So yeah, like just even like doing 6 weeks, kind of refraining from having those things whilst you're doing this repair work kind of thing will just help you not keep having that building up. So it's almost like you're clearing it all away. And if you don't have the dairy, it's not building back up. And if you're clearing it enough, then you've got clear kind of passageways, and then that's going to really help. And then you can reintroduce dairy. Like I was off dairy, anything dairy and wheat for ages, and now I've been able to introduce it a little bit. But you can just feel once you've had a time of away from it, you can feel how it impacts you with things like mucus and stuff.
Yeah,
So
with dairy, I guess, because I've spoken about it before as well. So I cut it out for the PCOS that I had, and then yeah, I just don't really, I still don't really have it anymore. Don't have cheese, don't have milk. I prefer oat milk. I haven't really been a cheese person anyway, but I do think. And it's there's such a conflict in it because a lot of people in the fitness industry will say like there's no problem with dairy, you know, that there's nothing's linked. But I think with I mean, I don't know if it's the same with men actually, if they cut out dairy, if they've got allergies as well, whether it help them more. But certainly for women, I do think dairy just messes up our hormones and stuff and our sort of systems, doesn't it? So I think it's definitely worth a try. Um, yeah, I
yeah.
think that's a good point there.
But I think there are links now. I think there's research that's linked it, you know, on a nutritional point of view. I don't know if it's the proteins that are based in all those things. So like the wheat protein and the dairy that is seen as a foreign body. It's something. It is like if I guess it's like if you have a small weakness in the digestive system or whatever system, that dairy then becomes a foreign body, like anything, you know. If suddenly the body's having to deal with something, so like for me chronic pain, then it's already under stress. So anything else that's a little bit of a stressor, if someone wasn't under stress and their body's perfectly optimized and working well, then milk, dairy, anything would be fine, may be fine for them. But if someone has got a body that's under stress for whatever reason, it's not necessarily going to be fine for them, because the body's like, I'm dealing with all this, I can't deal with that. And it just, you know, like it creates a response around it. So that's what histamine is. It's where something is already going on in that area. And then there's this foreign body that's coming in, which is like the birch pollen or whatever, tree pollens or whatever. And the body's just like, I can't deal with this as well. So it just attacks it, and it just wants to kind of, you know, remove it. So if we remove it ourselves, it means that the body can actually deal with whatever else is going on, you know, beneath that. Because that then moves on to like the boost in the immune system as well. You know, if we can boost our immune system, we're taking away the trigger and we're boosting the immune system for long enough, it then recalibrates itself, and it will deal with these things better. So was you going to say something on that?
No, I was gonna say, I think that's like a really good shout. And I made a smoothie. You can always see it looks pretty gross, doesn't it? It looked a bit nervous.
Earthy.
But I just chuck a load of, you know, like stuff in there, like obviously berries, like blueberries have got the antitoxin, and I can never say that word, antitoxidants in there. Um, cacao powders, and just trying to keep it as like with coconut milk is, you know, like not too many ingredients, as in the most fresh ingredients that you can get. So, you know, you don't have
Yeah.
a long list of all these chemicals and stuff. And I was going to ask you actually about because you know they say have a teaspoon of local honey.
Yeah, I was
Does
going to
that
say
actually
about that.
work? And that's something that you could probably just plonk in a smoothie as well.
Yeah, so I mean, this has been proven because I guess those bees have taken that local pollen and they've kind of processed it, and so you've got the kind of, I don't know if it's like enzymes they've created around it. So way that that works is they say you should introduce that, like, so the process of like eliminating hay fever should is best to start before the pollen season sets in. So, just before the springtime, if you did things like having these bee products, you have like tiny amounts and then you start like increasing it in small doses. But they say even like it doesn't matter when you start, it's still going to make an improvement. So yeah,
Hmm.
if you do that, rather than get like a big load of it straight away, just do a small amount, and then because that's then building up like the tolerance in the system. So like just having a few drips of it, like leading up to having like a teaspoon, then a tablespoon. But yeah, local honey, wild honey, like so grouse honey is no good. Like I don't even think that's honey anymore. I think that's refined. It's refined so much and it's mass produced so much. I doubt there's probably any honey in that. Like it's just pure kind of sugar. So yeah, you'd need to get like proper honey. Locally sourced is great. I just went down to the local park actually the other day and yesterday actually, and I noticed that they've got all these bees, and so I think lots of areas now are trying to do that to reintroduce bees into the ecosystem and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, check out what's going on in your local place. But I was getting a wild honey from, I think it was Lithuania, like in Europe. So even though it's not my local honey, it's wild honey and it's got all of, because also honey is like bee products are really, really good because they have all these kind of like like vitamins that are really good for the body. I wrote some of it down actually. So yeah, they're like the most potent antioxidants. So they're really, really good for and I know there's vegan people that don't endorse having honey or whatever, which is why if you get it if you get it wild and it's from proper places, they look after the bees, and so you're getting it in an ethical way. But yeah, so the one thing I was saying to you about was propolis. So this was something that I was introduced to in
Yeah.
Guatemala, and this is kind of like a bee product. I don't even know. I was trying to look at what it is. It's like you can get it in a spray form, and I was spraying it, I believe, under my tongue, because all of that is vascular, and so it's all connecting to the same area. And that what that does, so bee products as well are like really antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. They have all these amazing properties in them, and which is why it's good for your digestive system because it helps with all that kind of stuff. But it's also if you take it into that area, it helps with all that kind of problem and like being anti-inflammatory and stuff. So yeah, this propolis, it will direct you how to use it. But say you have like a spray a day or whatever, or a spray every other day, you kind of build up that as you go as well. But yeah, having that, and then also bee pollen is really good. So you can actually get bee pollen that you put in smoothies and stuff, and that again
Oh,
has like all these
yeah.
amazing
It's
properties.
like granules, isn't it?
Yeah, I
I
don't like the
think.
taste of it, but
I
you
think you
can
can get it
mass
from
it.
Holland and Barrett, can't you? Or would that be sort of bad quality, do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean you could do, but again, if you can source it from, somewhere that's Whole Foods type of thing, online, you'll probably get it a lot cheaper as well. Where it's kind of coming directly from where it should do. But if Holland and Barrett is the best you can do, you should definitely, yeah, check it
Actually,
out.
I think I might have bought some before from Buy Whole Foods online. I think I've mentioned that
Mhm.
that website before where I get the mushroom powders and stuff from. I think they do
Yeah,
it
yeah,
on there and it's all organic. How did you spell
yeah.
that? Propolis? Is it P-R-O-P?
OLIS.
O-L-I-S.
I
Uh-huh.
think yeah, so we can add like what we're talking about
Cool.
like in the comments. But
Yeah, so it's
definitely
not that
check that
expensive.
out. And I think
Mm.
nutrition wise as well, I just wanted to say there's two kind of natural like plant chemicals that are really good for helping with like being natural antihistamines. So one of them we were talking about just before the call is reishi mushroom,
Mm.
which I've been using, for so many other things that it does. But then when I was doing the research about this call, I realized it's a bioflavonoid which actually inhibits the histamine release. So it has like all these different properties, and they can actually help with stopping releasing the histamine. So instead of having your antihistamine tablets, you can actually use that, and that kind of eventually, it's like not having it once and thinking it's just going to remove it, but it's like having it a small amount daily eventually will kind of build up the tolerance. And then also apparently there's a plant chemical called carotenoid, which is found in carrots, pumpkins, and sweet potatoes, and they actually reduce inflammation in the airways, so it can help like unblock your breathing airways. So that's another thing to look at. You could put the carrots in a smoothie, or you could make a soup out of the pumpkins and the sweet potatoes or whatever. But yeah, so it's looking at things you can remove that are triggers. Like alcohol is definitely a trigger. Or if anyone smokes or vapes, like 100%, if you've got hay fever, you're just gonna constantly keep having a problem when you have those things. But yeah, the more you can remove triggers and you can just add in these natural antihistamines, you can get yourself off the medication. Because I also think these sprays as well, these medicine sprays, I don't think they do, in a long-term capacity, they're not doing you any good anyway, because they're an irritant on the mucosa layer. Over time, and your body gets a tolerance to them, so it doesn't work as much, and it's just not good, to constantly be putting chemicals that like have got direct access to your brain. Like anything that goes around here is in that kind of blood system. So I just think as much as you can keep it natural, then you should.
Yeah, because my friend's a pharmacist, and when I went to her, it was probably, can't remember how many, like years and years ago, and I was just so bunged up. I did have a cold as well, but I was using these nose sprays, and this cold just went on for months, and I was using them every day. And it got to the point where it was like every hour, and you're only supposed to use them a couple of times a day for 7 days or
Yeah,
something. And then she was like, "Oh, you just need to go cold turkey and just like deal with the fact that you're probably going to be bunged up even more, because they start to, I can't remember what she said now, is it starts to like the area starts to harden, and then you can't, yeah, it just builds up and up and up, and
and
so
it
it's actually making
constricts.
it worse.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I guess it constricts the area, which is going to cause problems. But then also,
what's the other
like
thing, isn't it?
one thing we get wrong, when we have like the flu or a cold or whatever, we think we're ill at that point. But like the what that's doing is the body is actually removing and releasing the problem. So it's that's the healing process that's going on. So if we're like doing something to take that healing process away, we've still got the problem in the system. So like when you have the flu and you take the flu tablet so you don't feel it, you're masking it, but you're still going to have to deal with that flu, which is what happens when you then sleep or whatever. But like when you've got these histamine kind of responses, and we're masking it with these sprays, the problem is still there, the irritant is still there, and it's hiding. Like we need to clear the irritant out, and then we need to build our system up so it can clear it. So that's the
Yeah,
thing with these sprays, it's just masking the problem, but then you are going to still have the problem. So they don't
yeah,
really work in that way. They give that kind of instant relief, but then you end up having to keep using it. But little hacks as well that I found that I actually never really knew about when I had the hay fever stuff is actually smearing balm like in your nostrils. I think you can actually buy proper stuff now that has things, but I think you can use Vaseline just as much, and or even maybe coconut oil if you want to keep it really, natural. But just something where, any kind of pollen that is, and some of it is so micro tiny, like it's not like those big chunks that fly around. It can be like little kind of hair, tiny little things, like they will then cling to this Vaseline and it won't go into your nasal airway, and it won't then irritate you. So that's a really good one. And then, once you come in from outdoors, like washing the face, so getting all that stuff off and blowing your nose out. And then using eye drops, to soothe your eyes, because that's another way, like it all kind of builds up around the eyes. And then I guess if you do have it really bad, like a flare up of allergies, is like using natural makeup, because once your body is like attacking an area, anything that goes there then that might be a bit perfumed or have a bit of chemicals, it's just going to react even further to that. So like then you could look at hyperallergen allergic makeup, like but mascara half the time now I don't wear because it's such an irritant. But when I used to have like hay fever, oh my God, that was a nightmare. Be constantly like scratching at my eyes. Because the body's just like it's like I don't want to deal with any more chemicals. So it's just like trying to fire off stuff to get rid of it. So yeah, those are the little hacks I was thinking of. Like seriously, if you followed these things for a few weeks, you know, the oil pulling, removing all the stuff out your mouth at the beginning of the day, this nasal pot, the Netti pot, if you did that just for a few weeks, even you don't want to continue it, just see how much shit comes out your nose. It's and so for some people, it's so bunged up, you might not even get anything like really much coming out. It might be that blocked. So to actually get it coming out is a good sign that your nasal airways are clear. But yeah, it's stuff that like I guess we take for granted, but it's like that is our plumbing system. If we want to breathe clearly and we want, you know, everything to be working well, we do need to keep it clear. So yeah, and then also just self-massage, you know, like especially around here, that when you have like hay fever, it all pockets around here. So I remember I used to massage there and I'd have such like repetitive sneezing while my body's trying to clear it out. And then you clear it to the sides here. This is where your like lymphatic system meets and you just drain it out. So you just go to here and then you just drain it out. And so you're actually clearing it yourself.
Yeah,
And you could do that when you're doing your, you know, like your cream in the morning or in the evening or whatever.
yeah, and wash your face, which is what I don't do that often. Which I know is different,
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's
that's a
just
good
taking
point.
off that buildup
Do
because
that.
it's so tiny, microscopic, you can't see it, but it's all clinging to your nose, to your eyes, to your eyebrows, and then you're rubbing it around your pillow and you're breathing it in at night time. So it can just be that the fact that there's just pollen in your, you know, environment that you don't even see, that you don't know about. But
Yeah.
yeah, so if anyone else has any hacks for hay fever, let us know. But I definitely, and another thing as well, what I did was I had acupuncture. And one of the days I was sneezing constantly. I was saying to them, I don't know if this is going to work because they put it, you know, the needle in your face and stuff. And I was worried, you know, I'd sneeze and he'd prick me or whatever. And the guy was like, that's fine. I'll just put a couple in here. And he, I don't know, he did it. So I thought, wow, I thought if that had sorted me out as well. But then another acupuncturist said there wasn't really a point for that. But I swear by it. Like, so if you really want to go all out, like get some, tell that, go to an acupuncturist and tell them that you have the hay fever. And there will be points anyway to boost your immune system. But I definitely remember him doing a point there that like really just freed, you know, like my airways like immediately. So that was another good one.
It's always worth a go. I think anything's worth a go. But I think
Yeah,
we'll put these points as like a list as well in our you know, in this post with this video. But I think there's a great load of points and I'm definitely going to do them.
yeah, because you know what, you don't like that. You definitely don't need to struggle with it. It is something that I've overcome it. I know other people have overcome it that you know I was working with in this natural healing center. So why suffer? Like I know it might be a bit annoying, like to do this neti pot thing and you know like maybe changing a diet, but it doesn't have to be forever. Like definitely, you know, after a couple of months, you will really notice the like positive effects. And you know, how amazing would it be to actually have a whole summer of not having to, you know, like just sack off going to a barbecue because you just can't breathe or you're sneezing constantly. Like it
Yeah,
really does like ruin your summer sometimes. And it, like, yeah, there are ways to get better.
yeah. Oh, thanks for all those. I think this is great. I think hopefully this is
Yeah,
really interesting as well for people. So we'll put all the information in and then yeah, if you got any other kind of comments or suggestions that we can add to our list, then we're all ears. But yeah, give these things a go. I'll do it as well, and I'll report back in a few weeks and let you know how it's going.
yeah, that's good.
Um, for those that are going to Glastonbury, which Lisa is, I'm very jealous. Um, it's going to be lovely weather for a change, so enjoy the sun and have a fantastic time. I'm not jealous at all. Definitely not jealous at all.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
you need to make it next year.
yeah, I'll try for next year. But yeah, have a lovely weekend and don't forget your sun cream.
Yeah. See you soon.
Bye.